no, his nose. How's it going, guys? Happy International Men's Day. Oh my goodness. I've actually genuinely been looking forward to this day so that I can like really make a presence on social media and show people like what this day is about and how to celebrate it. And so I just wanted to start off by saying I'm so proud of you guys. Every single one of you that did not want to wake up today but did. I'm very proud of you. I know the struggle. And today is Men's Day, so tell me what you're doing. Sorry. Tell me what you're doing to celebrate yourself. If you're a lady watching, have you like this song? Have you sent a message to a gentleman in your life? Let him know that you appreciate him. I'm sorry that your guys' day sucked. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Well, for those that didn't know, today is International Men's Day. So we celebrate this day to remember strong male leaders. To talk about men's issues that aren't talked about. That's, the whole month of November is for that. But, we like really remember this day. You can have one more, okay? Excuse me. Here you go, baby. Yeah, so it's just a day to show appreciation to the, sorry, I just had to get something from my daughter. To show appreciation to the gentlemen in our lives, to, commemorate strong male leaders. If you don't have me on Instagram, I made a really good post about it, that Instagram actually shadow banned for some reason. So I've been encouraging people to go to my Instagram and share that post because I'm really irritated that it's Men's Day and it was a really good post. So my Instagram is Roma Army Official. So when you're done here, if you want to go add me up, you want to go check that post and you want to go share it, please do, because I really just want to normalize talking about this day. And I'm kind of irritated that Instagram is trying to shadow ban it. Also, if you read my post on the community, the top tier of my Patreon for guys only today. If you subscribe, you get the second month for free. Patreon is not the same as OnlyFans. I would like to just remind you, it is not about buttholes and whatnot. I use the top tier, my Patreon, to communicate with my Patreons. I know a lot of them by first name because I talk to them every day. That's what they subscribe for, is to talk to me every day. So I know a lot of them by first name. I know what they do for a living. I know a lot of their. No, see, I'm literally just explaining. It is not the same as OnlyFans. I have a military tier, so it's pretty much like the top tier is like it's communication. So like that's so that people get to talk to me daily. I really do my best to answer my DMs on social media, but it can get kind of overwhelming. So I do have a Twitter. My Twitter is Roma Army 2, like Roma Army and then the number 2, because Roma Army was taken. So people subscribe to my top tier. There's just read for it for yourself before you make a judgment and a preconceived notion about what it's about. I do a lot of comedy as well. But yeah, for Men's Day, if you subscribe, you get your second month for free. So, I like to talk to you guys as much as possible. Anyways, do I speak Romanian? Yes. You don't care about men? Stop pretending. Oh, that's very rude. Would anybody like to be my moderator? Rema, I appreciate this. As my girl forgot about it, I'm happy. Well, just gently remind her, right? Like, don't try not to be hurt. Like, I would understand why maybe you would be hurt, but try try to just gently remind her, because you have to remember, like, social media does not promote this stuff. My post promoting it, I made a really good post on it and it got shadow banned. So like, okay guys, so for the moderators, just really quick, here are the rules. Do not just kick anybody out who is like expressing, if they're asking me a question, just expressing concern. If someone comes in, they're like, you don't care about men, don't lie. I mean, obviously, that person is just here to be rude. So, oh, I grabbed the wrong one here. So we're not going to entertain that. But yeah, we're definitely, this community is definitely open to criticism, and we don't just shun people out because they disagree. But if you're just being rude and disrespectful and like, saying something and then maybe I correct it and you just continue to be belligerent and rude about it, that's probably a good time to be blocked. Does anybody have any questions about Men's Day or how to celebrate this day, or, do you have any questions? So many people didn't even know about it. It's Liam from Callum Stream. Sure. You can see my guinea pigs when I'm done. Yes, I don't want to touch guinea pigs and then touch my face. I just don't hear a lot about Men's Day. What is it about? Well, Men's Day is, we use this day to remember, strong male leaders, Nelson Mandela. A lot of people think of Obama on this day because, he's the first black president. Abraham Lincoln. Oh my gosh, who else? Like there's so many great men who have contributed amazing things to our society. Johnny Depp, there you go. We remember male victims of domestic violence today who have lost their lives and not gotten justice because domestic violence isn't taken very seriously for men. And we do the same thing on Women's Day, right? We remember the women who have lost their lives to domestic violence, and there is a Women's Day. Yes, there is an International Women's Day. I think it's really cool. I think it's really powerful. And I'm kind of irritated because I haven't seen, I saw one feminist page post about Men's Day, and they just used that opportunity to share a bunch of quotes from strong male leaders about feminism. So people were kind of pissed off about that. How does one celebrate this Men's Day? You can have a drink. You can, usually it's about doing something for yourself. So you do something for yourself today that you would want to enjoy. Maybe it's going and buying that thing that you've been putting off buying. Maybe it's cracking a beer and going and having a bath. Maybe it's, going over to your dad's house and having a beer with him and, celebrating this day with him. It is COVID-19. I do forget that. Maybe it's just sitting down and like watching your favorite movie. It's just about celebrating yourself. Today we think about soldiers, fathers. Like this day is about men, and it's about just remembering the good men in society and really showing appreciation, because we know that, not all men are bad. There are a lot of amazing men who have contributed amazing things to our society. And those men are also, the everyday men in our lives, our brothers, our dads, our coworkers, our best friends, right? So if you have a male in your life, like guys, the dudes especially since, we normalize here men caring for each other, expressing emotions without it being considered toxic. If you have like a male best friend in your life or something, reach out to them and, tell them that you appreciate them, and, tell them it's Happy International Men's Day. Most people don't know about it, so just let them know that there is a day for them and that you're thinking about them. What did I do to celebrate? Well, my child is still up. It's only 4. So, my boyfriend's very simple and didn't really want to do anything too much. So, he's at home, unfortunately. I was going to try to make him like dinner or something, but he wanted to be home working. So I think I'm going to make a dinner for myself and, eat it and think about, all the men that I appreciate, the men of this movement. And then once my daughter goes to bed and she's been asleep for an hour, then I will have some tequila to celebrate. I live in Canada. I'm ready for you. For real, on Women's Day, celebrate Roma, guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. You guys, you guys should support, your mothers too, your sisters, your coworkers. Do I support men going their own way? How the fuck do you lie like that? I don't know. It's just practice, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to touch my face, so I've just like learned, because I think I do my makeup like maybe a little bit backwards. Do I support men going their own way? Here's the thing. I fully understand, and I made a video on it, and it wasn't very well received. But do I support men feeling like they need to abandon, the human need for relationship, for interaction? Do I like agree with that? No. Do I understand why men feel like that? Why men going their own way is a thing? 100%. I'm not arrogant to the cause, the reasoning. However, I feel like any of us can acknowledge that saying that they are just completely, if I were to say I'm never dating a man again, because men in society have become, this and this, and, and there's a lot more reasons, but, it kind of comes down to not feeling secure in knowing that you will end up with somebody that will treat you good, right? And that's okay. But would the answer to that ever be, would I ever say to somebody, well, just stop trying altogether, go your own way? No. Would I suggest doing that for a while you, really gain who you are, who you want to be, get your steps down in life? Yeah, I would encourage that. But I don't think that any human being should deprive themselves of what we all really need, which is love and affection. And, I would say the exact same thing to women who have said, I hate men, I'm a lesbian now, this, and this. And, I'd say the same thing, which is, I understand that you have bad experiences, that social media is a high influence on that. However, I would encourage her to step outside of that box, really work on herself, and then we're presented with like different types of people, I feel like, when we do that. So do I support men going their own way? I don't want to say I don't support it, because when I say I don't support it, I feel like people are like, oh, well, you don't understand and stuff like that. I very much understand it. Do I think that it's like healthy? Would I encourage it or suggest it? No. I would suggest that human beings really work to try to have a better understanding of each other. And, that's what I'm here for, right? I'm here to, lead by example and show you guys, if I'm one person, crazy tattoos, if I'm somebody that you can trust, somebody that advocates for you, that believes in you, there's no way in hell that I'm the only woman in this world that has my beliefs. In fact, if you are a woman, following this right now and you support like the Roma army, you believe in feminism, but you also, don't believe that feminism should include tearing down men. If you're a female and you agree, can you comment no dick? Guys, please just reserve this for the females. I just want to see how many of them are here, and I want to show you guys really that I'm not the only one. So only if you're a girl. There's like 400 people in here. I'm sure that there are at least a handful of there's one that I definitely see is a girl. I can't tell if those two are a girl, but there's one, two. Guys, it's for girls only. There's three. When you comment no dick, like it fucks it up to be able to tell how many like women are in here supporting. So someone's like, oh, well, it's like only four. Well, I can't really tell. But are we like those, like someone said, those women are like, they're queens. Like you guys are to be celebrated. And everyone shut up for 2 seconds. Yeah, we just want to let you know that we appreciate you. You're not unvalued or undermined just because there may be few. We really appreciate your support. You're awesome. Thank you. I think you guys are awesome. Well, it's like difficult because I don't know. Like some men might answer. I can do it on Instagram because then I can see who's actually a girl and who's not. How can we celebrate Men's Day? Well, you call somebody that you care about, a man in your life that you admire, a best friend, your father, a coworker, all of the above. You tell them that you appreciate them. You wish them a happy Men's Day. In the Roma army, we normalize sharing emotions with each other. And, we recognize that emotions are not weakness. They're not simping, they're whatever, so I really encourage you guys to call up your buddies and just tell them genuinely that you appreciate them. And, when we do that, it encourages and opens the door for other people to communicate in ways that maybe society's told them not to. So you do that, and then most importantly, you do something for yourself. So, whether it's drink a beer, have a bath, watch your favorite TV show uninterrupted. Somebody's like getting mad at me because I'm not answering their question. If your question is a dumb question or one that does not have anything to do with this, I'm gonna be upset. Oh, he's gone. Thank you, moderator. You encourage gay behavior? Oh my God, that's very, very rude. I would never judge somebody based off of who they love. I did not wake up one day and think to myself, oh my God, I'm gonna only be attracted to men. That wasn't a choice for me, so I think it's pretty arrogant. It would be arrogant of me to assume that it's the same for other people. So I think that's quite rude, and I don't think we really value that here. There's so many questions. I'm trying to. Wow, just. Oh, is that? I didn't even correlate it. Fuck. I didn't even correlate. Yeah, that is the definition of toxic masculinity. And we recognize that toxic masculinity is due to the pressures that, society creates and unrealistic, ideologies and stereotypes that we place on men. Guys, I did just release my podcast. You guys are asking me about, how I started this movement. I really want to encourage you to listen to my podcast. It is available on Google Podcasts. It's available on iTunes. So like Apple Podcasts, it should be available on Spotify by now if they've approved it. I'm not sure. But it will be available on all platforms. You can watch like the video podcast on YouTube. However, there's only one episode available on YouTube, and the second episode is where I talk about false allegations and I address all of that stuff. Those podcasts are available for listening on like Apple, Google, stuff like that. So if you want to know those questions, please listen to my podcast, because I don't mean to like toot my own horn here, but I think it is really good. And I'm really excited to get into it, help get the views up, because the views mean that I can record more, which means I can start going into depth about really, important topics like the Johnny Depp situation, things like that. Should I date while in the military? That's up to other service members to answer. Somebody asked me if I support Jordan Peterson. Yes and no. I will be 100% transparent. I enjoy Jordan Peterson. I think he attacks really intellectual topics. I've read his book about, what it takes to be a man. I didn't think that there was any really like radical ideas in there. I didn't see any toxic masculinity. I really enjoyed his book. I thought that he's a good role model. However, there is a portion of Jordan Peterson's community that is very like incel behavior, and I do say portion. So if you support Jordan Peterson, so do I. So I'm not calling myself an incel, but I have seen lots of comments in communities, and so much so that I'm not the only one. He's been asked about it in his interviews. He says people will ask him, what do you say about these men online who are practicing and saying these radical things? And I just want to clarify, not all incels are radical. I fully acknowledge that. However, there is a portion that are like radical incels, and he's been asked about it in interviews, and he says, well, that's not me. So he doesn't really call it out. And that's something that I've learned from him, and something that I want to do differently. I won't allow the Roma army to build like a community within itself that like hates women. And I think, if I'm being honest, a couple months ago, and I talk about this in my podcast, but a couple months ago, some of my ideologies were very aggressive. They were very one-sided, and almost bordered misogynistic. And, I learned and I grew through that, and I listened to my critics. And I saw, when I changed and like developed my stances, I seen a change in my community. My community became less angry. They became more supportive towards each other. And I think that as leaders, it's our responsibility, especially when you're running a men's rights movement who have bad reputations, it's our responsibility to make sure that we do our part in keeping a hold of that reputation. And so, on TikTok, if I call out a video, I make sure every single time to say to my following, do not talk shit to this person. If you do, we do not, we condemn you. We don't, that is not what our community is about. I make sure to do that every time, because, if someone goes and says something really shitty, the haters will be like, well, this is Roma's community. So I do a really good job of, saying we do not support this. You know what I mean? And that's something that I don't support about Jordan Peterson is I don't think he doesn't call out the radical beliefs and the radical communities that hide in every movement, right? As we know, not every single feminist is a radical feminist. Feminism is not supposed to be radical. It was radical people that have given feminism a salty taste in your mouth, right? And, the same can be said about men's rights movements, right? When we say men's rights movement, women will automatically mostly say to me, well, what rights don't men have? They kind of laugh. And I go online, again, I talk about this in my podcast, and I see some of the communities online that claim to be men's rights advocates, and they'll say things like, patriarchy is fake, things like that. They're just very aggressive, and it comes off the exact same way that radical feminists come off to me. And so, I think Jordan Peterson is a very intelligent man. I think that he's I think that he's got some great ideas. I definitely look up to him. However, I would support him 100% if he was able to stand there and say, look, there are certain beliefs, there are certain people inside this movement that believe certain things, and I do not support that. So patriarchy is absolutely not a myth. I can do a podcast on it if you would like. Patriarchy is not a myth. Patriarchy is the system that allows privilege over other people. So like, if patriarchy wasn't a myth, there would be an equal amount of like black, brown, Chinese people that stand in like parliament rather than just like a bunch of white guys. So that is like, that's a really good example of patriarchy. And when in my experience as a men's rights advocate, as soon as you say patriarchy, a lot of men shut down and they'll get mad. They'll be like, oh, it's a myth and stuff like that. They'll get really upset because whenever they're hearing patriarchy, it's because it's being yelled at them by feminists. It's not really being explained to them, and it's being thrown at them like it's your fault, like it's something that you should feel guilty for, and it's not, because the thing is that like patriarchy oppresses everybody. When you allow privilege, because patriarchy is just a system of privilege, so when you allow privilege over somebody else, for example, mothers have more privilege over fathers. There's a matriarchy there in the family courts. Studies have shown, especially recently, that it's actually the female judges that are giving equal time to the dads. And if you're a dad in here that went through the family courts, that had this experience, that agrees or maybe doesn't, please let me know. But studies have shown, and in my experience talking to gentlemen, that when they're fighting for their kids in court, it's the female the female judges that are granting them equal access and are harsher on the mothers that are just being assholes. And they're finding that the male judges are the ones that are kind of carrying the ideology of like, well, you're supposed to make all the money and she's supposed to stay at home with the kids. Right? So that's a really good example. That would be an example of patriarchy, where like it's supposed to be this like privilege that men, are blah, blah, blah. But our times have changed. And as we know about like patriarchy, is it oppresses both men and women. So in the case of the family courts, it oppresses men and women about these ideologies that are in the family courts, right? So I can definitely do a podcast on this. Are you okay? And talk about this, because this is all true and this is all verified. I really want to caution you guys, because again, whenever somebody says the word patriarchy, people are like, I don't want to hear it, because it's always like, well, you should feel guilty because the patriarchy. And that's just simply not fair. We should be educating. Privilege is something that is not to be used as a weapon. It's to be used as a tool. For example, I use my privilege every single day as a woman, as I've built a platform for myself. And I'm saying what every single man in here watching, every single one of you has the right to say what I say about men's issues, men's mental health, men's health. You have a right to talk about that. But because you're a man, when you try to talk about that, you're degraded. You're told that you're not to have an opinion. You're screamed things like patriarchy and privilege. And as a woman, it's been easier for me to build a platform to talk about these things because I have the privilege of being a woman in this situation. So that's just a really good example of like, we do all have different privileges, and it's important to recognize our privilege so that we can use it to help other people. Privilege isn't supposed to be something that's used to be thrown in your face. You do not have to feel guilty because you're white. You don't have to feel guilty, blah, blah, blah. But it's important to acknowledge that, like, as a white person, there are certain things that would be easier for you to achieve than over somebody with a disability, than maybe in certain situations over a woman, over somebody with color. And again, privilege does not mean that you're going to have a perfect life. Privilege does not mean that you've never been homeless, that you've never been poor, that you've never been abused. That's not what it means. Privilege is just something you're born into. So it's nothing that you can control. Nothing. It's whether it's the city you were born in, it's the type of wealth you were born into, it's the color of your skin, it's just your gender, right? These are all things that you can't control. So it's important to like recognize, I recognize I'm a gypsy, but I'm a white woman in Canada, so I have a lot more privilege. And so I use my privilege. For example, my daughter's god family is Indigenous, and I'll never forget when they took her on vacation and they were refused into this hotel and told that they weren't allowed a room, that there were no rooms. And they called me. I could hear my daughter playing in the lobby, and I looked and there was definitely rooms. And so that was the first time that I've ever had to use like, yo, this is who I am. But I called and I said, like my daughter's in your lobby. I can see that you have rooms. Why are you denying these people, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, like, I'm so sorry. And he fixed it and got a room, got them an upgrade and blah, blah, blah. But, he was being racist because they were Indigenous, 100%. And it took my white ass to call and say, this is who I am. You need to get a room for them. And like, you know what I mean? That's called using my privilege. I didn't sit there and feel guilty because, even though I have seen, videos or, of people telling me that I should feel guilty because I'm white, because I live in Canada, I don't feel guilty. I'm just aware of the fact that like I have a privilege. And so I used my privilege as a white person to help, my Indigenous family, their family to me. So, that's an example of acknowledging your privilege, something that I didn't choose to be born white, and using it to help somebody who doesn't have that privilege. So, not sure you should have said that. I don't feel like I said anything inappropriate. Are you really a gypsy? Yes, I was born in Romania. I did show my birth certificate. My birth certificate is up there. I can pull it out if you would like. All on point. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen. But yeah, I'm going to go because it is 4:30. So I'm going to go make some videos, commemorating Men's Day. Don't forget that I've put it on my community. Go check my community posts, my Patreon, if you join today, only for men. Because despite what people think, because like Patreon is not like OnlyFans. Can I please just freaking clarify? It's not. I have comedy on there. It's mostly communications. Like I said, I know the majority of my Patreons by first name. I talk to them multiple times a day. I know about their pets, their jobs. Like, please don't be confused from what like the haters have said or maybe what you've misconstrued it or whatever. But I do have women who are a part of my Patreon, and it's kind of insulting sometimes that people just assume that it's only men. I don't know why, but I have lots of females who are part of my Patreon. But for men only, if you join today, you get the second month for free. So the top tier of my Patreon is, like I said, that's where you are able to join my Snapchat and my Patreon Snapchat and chat with me every day. Whether you just want to shoot the shit, have a beer with me. It's International Men's Day, so obviously I'm paying more attention to my patrons today as I typically would, which is a lot. So yeah, and please, like I said, Instagram has shadow banned my International Men's Day post. I was really proud of it. So if you guys could add me on Instagram, it's Roma Army Official, and go share that post in your story. Share it wherever you feel like it. Because I really want to normalize talking about this day. You guys really, really deserve it. And, I think we often, society has kind of pushed a narrative of like blaming and demonizing men, and we forget to take the time to acknowledge and appreciate them. Even men like our fathers and our best friends, our coworkers, etc. So, Hosanna, do you have anything to say before we go? You have anything to say to the live? It's International Men's Day. Do you have anything to say to the men, the gentlemen watching? It's International Men's Day. Do you want to say Happy International Men's Day? Yeah. Okay. You tired? She's very tired. Okay, guys. All right, you guys have an amazing night. Don't forget to take care of yourselves. Call somebody close to you. Tell them you appreciate them. Wish them a happy International Men's Day, men or women watching. And do something for yourself. I don't care if it's even just like sitting in the bathroom and like taking a nice shit and you're like, poop. And you're like, that's what I'm doing for myself today. Have a beer, call a buddy, do something for yourself to appreciate yourself. Have a bath, have a nice shower, use your girlfriend's scrub, pick up some scrub for yourself, because like, why the fuck do men have to smell like freaking foreign eagle feathers when he could smell like cocoa butter kisses too? So, okay. Oh yeah, somebody asked to see the guinea pig. Okay, I will show the guinea pigs really quick. Guinea pigs. This is an Abyssinian. This is an American.
Can I play with them?
You can play with the baby one, because the big one bites.
Yay!
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Add me on Instagram. Check the community post. Do something for yourselves. Happy International Men's Day. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Okay, I will be on the lookout for your DM. Yeah, say Happy International Men's Day to each other. There's 355 of you in here. There's some gentlemen in here who may not hear that today, and that's like really sad and really unfortunate. So you guys, you should say it to each other, so that, you know, in case like somebody doesn't, you know, somebody doesn't have somebody say it to them today, you've got like at least 300 people that have said it to you. I'm not even a man yet. Well, you're a boy. Showing appreciation and admiring somebody is not being a simp. Happy birthday to your mom. If it's her birthday today, I hope I read that right. I want to cry. You guys are so beautiful. I love this community so much. I appreciate you. Share this YouTube video if you want. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And yeah, you know what to do. I love you. No dick! Should I do a no dick today for International Men's Day? That's not even a question. Of course.